Hello and welcome friends to 5 Minutes Engineering. In today's video, we are gonna understand the behavior of k-means clustering algorithm with the help of solved numerical example. This is one kind of a numerical which is mostly asked by the examiners in the university exams. This is the structure where certain data is given to you and they are asking just consider k equal to 2. What do I mean by k? What's the value of k indicates, signifies? It is simply the number of clusters that you have to form, that is 2. So in this example also they are saying that k value equal to 2. That means 2 clusters are to be formed from this given data using k-means clustering algorithm. So what are the steps that we need to follow? What are the steps that we need to execute to get these 2 clusters and this data into these respective clusters? How to do that? So basically k-means clustering algorithm is an unsupervised learning technique. Unsupervised, what do I mean by unsupervised learning technique? Means here you will not get any labeled data. No target variable would be provided you in your respective data set. Now you can see this is a simple data. There is nothing like a target, or there is nothing like a dependent variable which is here. There is no label that you can see. There is only height and weight is given, and there are 12 samples, or you can say 12 data points in your respective data set are present. You can generalize this also. You can take x, y, z like that. Okay, so this would be a data set that would be given to your algorithm. Now how to solve such kind of questions? These are the questions that comes most of the time in your exam. Okay, and how to solve? There are very simple steps that you need to execute. Very simple. So what is the first step that we need to take care of? The first step is very easy. We know that in the question it is mentioned the value of k equal to 2, means we have to plot, or we have to, let's say, build 2 clusters. So this is my cluster, let's say k1, and this is my cluster k2. Okay, like that I am taking it, considering it. Now what you need to do is that introduce a centroid. This is a very important term in k-means clustering. So you have to introduce a centroid. But what should we consider as a centroid point? What should we consider? So which data point from our data set we should consider as a centroid for both these clusters? So it's a pretty simple step. Just consider the first sample, the first data point of your data set, 185,75. Let's take it as the centroid for the cluster 1. And for the second, take the second sample. It is 170,56. Okay, correct. With this we have initialized our clusters with respective cluster 1 with the sample 1 and cluster 2 with the sample 2 as their respective centroids. Okay, now we will move further. These both are assigned to their respective clusters. Okay, this to 1 and this to 2. Okay, now what about the third? Where the third will go? Will it be assigned to the cluster 1 or to the cluster 2? What's going to happen? How to find it out? So for that we need Euclidean distance. Now this is not a new term to you. Okay, it's a pretty simple formula where I would like to mention what is this x0, y0 and xc, yc, what it is. So here what we are doing, or what we are considering, x0 and y0, these are nothing but simply your data points or sample point values. Okay, these are nothing but your sample values, like x value is 185 and y value is 72, like that. Okay, I hope you are getting this point. These are the values from your data set. Okay, that is the sample values. And what is this xc and yc? What is this? C means centroid. So these are nothing but your centroid values for the respective cluster. Means at a time we are going to consider one cluster, and in this cluster we are going to have these two. So this is nothing but xc, this is nothing but yc. Okay, and now whatever we are now doing, it is for the further calculation with the starting with the third sample. Now with the third sample, this is nothing but x0 168 and y0 is nothing but your 60. I hope you are getting this. Now following this respective Euclidean distance for the sample 3 of your data set, we are going to calculate some values for both clusters k1 and k2, and then we are going to compare those results or the values or the figures that are being generated. And what we are going to do is select the minimum one. We are going to always go for the minimum, not the maximum. You got here the minimum value for k2, that is the cluster 2. So therefore this respective third sample of your data set will be assigned to the cluster 2 and not the 1. Okay, so what we basically did here, it's a pretty simple. See, 168 and 60, what it is? x0, y0, third sample that we considered. What is 185 and 72? It's pretty simple. 185, 72, that are the centroids of cluster 1. xc, yc that we considered here. Similarly 168 and 60, that is for the third sample values x0, y0, and for the cluster 2 as well you have to calculate the same thing. So you have to consider at that time the centroid of the current centroid of the cluster 2, that is 170 and 56. Simple. After doing all these calculation, you got these results, these figures. Okay, now as I said, you have to always and always go for the minimum. You have to always go for approach for the minimum, select the minimum one. So we have selected this. Okay, and that means K2, that means cluster 2. You have to assign this respective third sample to the cluster 2. After assigning, okay, so we have assigned the respective sample to the cluster 2. After that, what we need to do? Now we need to move further and modify or update the centroid value of a cluster. Now you would be having one question in your mind. There are two clusters, K1 and K2. Whose centroid values will be updated or modified? Will it be K1 or K2? Answer is pretty easy. It is K2, not K1. It is K2. Why it is K2? Because just now in our current step we have added or assigned the sample 3 to the cluster K2, not K1. So whenever in a current step you are assigning a sample or a data point of your data set to a cluster, that respective cluster centroid values must be modified, updated, not the other ones. Okay, so we are going to only focus on the centroid values of K2. Now that's what we are doing here. We need to get the centroid values, the new centroid value. This is an old centroid value. Okay, so how to do that calculation? It is pretty easy. Just take an average. Okay, just take a pretty average. Means what? Just take the average of the height values and the weight values. Okay, now in this respective cluster we have two. Let's say we have two now, we have two samples in that cluster. This was the initial assigned respective centroid, that is the old centroid, and the third one that is now just got added to the cluster 2 is 168, 60. Okay, so what we need to just do now, 170 plus 168 divided by 2, that is we are just taking the average. Okay, for the height values. Then comes the weight. 60 and 56, just take the average of that, and whatever after taking the average the resultant is generated, this will be now your new centroid for the cluster 2, So this is the cluster K1 and this is the cluster K2. Now you can observe this thing, that for the K1 the centroid is that old one only. Okay, why? Because in the current step there was no sample that was being assigned or added to that respective cluster, so it will be remaining the same. We do not need to update the centroid value of cluster K1, but for K2 we need to update it because this sample was added to the cluster K2, and therefore you have to just take the average of the respective feature values, and then you are going to generate this as your new centroid value for the cluster K2. Okay, so this is it. We need to stop it now? No, we cannot stop. We cannot stop until we have done or repeated the same procedure, same steps for all the respective sample points in your data set. Means what we need to do, we will next consider the fourth sample having the value 179, 68. What we are going to do, we are going to use these respective values and these new updated centroid value and perform the Euclidean distance for fourth for K1 and K2. We will get some result, we will get some figures. Okay, we will compare the result, we will select approach, go for the minimum one. Now what's the minimum value? It will be for some K1 or K2. Okay, according to that this fourth sample will be assigned to K1 or K2. As per the assignment, as per the addition of that respective sample to K1 or K2, we will update the respective cluster centroid values or modify the centroid values. So similarly, we will move further, go for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and then 12 and we'll stop. Why we will stop? Because this is the end. This is the end of your data set. Total 12 samples were there and we are done with our work with assigning those respective 12 samples to the respective clusters K1 and K2. And finally, whatever answer you get, it should be like this. It should be like this, K1 and K2. Now these are nothing but the sample numbers, okay, which represent that these are the samples which belong to K1 and these are the samples that belong to K2, and this should be what your answer should come. Okay, now with this video I have explained you if such kind of a question comes in your exam to solve by using k-means clustering, how you can do that in a pretty easy and understandable manner. If you understood this video, if this video helped you, do like this video and most importantly share this video with all your friends. Thanks a lot friends for watching this video.